Stream is live, it says.
All right. Merry Christmas, Happy New Year. We've missed y'all. Would have been here Wednesday, but it was a miscommunication on my part, apparently. Um, Hope everybody had a good Christmas and a good New Year's. Um, I've already asked Richard how his was. Was this?
I was laughing at Lady Thistle. Oh, Krista says waving from a reindeer ramage. Lizzie says waving from the cold land of potatoes. Lady Thistle says waving from the land of like this video or you're cursed. Chris the Crow says my week is finally complete. It's good to get back on schedule. All right.
Yeah, no, I missed it. Richard had actually texted me Wednesday. He's like, "Are we going live?" And I could have swore that today was the day we agreed to get back on, but I might have misremembered wrong. We know how my memory is. So I wasn't ready, and so we're doing it today. Quick shout out to hold on.
Your Chihuahua? What are we doing here? Are you getting the Chihuahua?
No. I'm doing a shout out to my son. I don't know if I mentioned it on here, but I did on Discord about the buying land in Scotland and becoming a lord. Well, I am official. I don't know if you can read that. Lord of the Glen.
It kind of goes in and out there a little bit. Yep.
Lord Old New Dude. There we go.
Lord of the Glen. Anyway,
yeah.
you know those things aren't exactly.
Yeah, no, it's
all right. So you realize that's not.
But okay. I'm making everyone around the house call me my lord, with the exception of my wife. For some reason, she won't do it.
So Carmine did the ad right before it broke that how fake it was.
It's okay.
he Preston, I think, gave him a little bit of a hard time.
It doesn't matter. It was the thought. It's the piece of paper. It's real.
It's real. Let's pay homage to him. All right, fair enough.
Yeah, well, I'm going to find out who has the square foot beside me and
don't yuck his
do a marriage pact. I'm going to marry Carter off to their daughter or something, and then also to Chris. This he got me like 2 Christmases ago is the wolf heads with Thor's hammer. And I just found it after the move and everything. I'm like, well, it combines the old gods and the new, the wolf head for the old gods and the Smith's hammer for the new. So I'm going to wear it now for every live stream along with the cowboy hat. But okay, that's enough of me talking jibber jabber.
I had this on my TV and I decided that I don't need that. Anyway. Sorry, I just decreased our viewer count by 1.
I completely forgot. We were supposed to do a theory video.
And I was surprised you didn't do a theory video. I thought about texting you, but anyway.
I wish you had with Carter being home. Happy 64th birthday. With Carter being home from school.
64.
For the same reason, I forgot that we were going to do a live stream Wednesday. He takes up a lot of time and a lot of brain power. So I do apologize, brother. I did say I was going to do a theory video. I do apologize. Her birthday was the 30th, I believe, last Saturday.
Right, and you were going to do a stream on the 29th.
Yes, I was going to do a live stream. I was going to get together with Lizzie to do a theory video just to have something to do so we could wish her. I am so sorry. I do apologize. But again, happy 64th.
All right.
I feel so bad.
I should have reminded you.
That's well, we know how my memory is.
No, I'm just kidding. Let's do this.
Yes, I've talked enough.
Do we ever introduce ourselves?
Oh, I am Old New Dude. Oh, and shout out to Drew who got me this Blood Raven t-shirt for Christmas.
Oh, nice.
But, yeah, I am Old New Dude. He is
Richard York, Asher's trueborn son.
And this is Jamie number 4.
Storm 31, Jamie 4. I'll scream very loudly. His hand burned. Still, long after they had snuffed out the torch they'd used to sear his bloody stump, days after, he could still feel the fire lancing up his arm, his fingers twisting the flames, the fingers he no longer had. Jamie! I tried to remind them both, Mother Roy. They asked me if I could read and said I can't sit with them. Oh. Where were we? Oh, yeah. He had taken wounds before, but never like this. He'd never known there could be such pain. Sometimes, unbidden, old prayers bubbled from his lips, prayers he learned as a child and never thought of since, prayers he had first prayed with Circe kneeling beside him in the stepped Casterly rock. Sometimes he even wept until he heard the mummers laughing. Then he made his eyes go dry and his heart go dead, and prayed for his fever to burn away his tears. Now I know what Tyrannus felt all those times they laughed at him. After the second time he fell from the saddle, they bound him tight to Brienne of Tarth and made them share a horse again. One day, instead of back to front, they bound them face to face. The lovers, Shagwell sighed loudly. And what a lovely sight they are! 'Twould be cruel to separate the good knight and his lady. Then he laughed that high, shrill laugh of his and said, Ah, but which one is the knight and which one is the lady? So Jaime is fair and Brienne is his protector, and they are the lovers. Got it. If I had my hand, you'd learn that soon enough, Jaime thought. His arms ached and his legs were numb from the ropes, but after a while, none of that mattered. His world shrunk to the throb of agony that was his phantom hand, and Brienne pressed against him. She's warm, at least, he consoled himself, though the wench's breath was as foul as his own. Jaime is consoled by the warm body of his lover. Mother Royan says the theory I saw suggested that Howland Reed at the Tower of Joy converted the Kingsguard to Ned's purpose. Lady Thistle says, should have never left your house, Jaime. Stay home. Stay safe. So Mother Royan, yeah, I've always said that Howland Reed reminded them that to crown them is to kill them. So, obviously we believe in triplet Targaryens. It's sort of just like we hear with Marcella, right? To crown her is to kill her. So anyway, and their vows not to maintain Targaryen rule. It's to protect the royal family. And so keeping them incognito and separating the heirs and not making a claim is better protecting them. So that's what I think you buy that, right?
Yeah, I can get behind that. I had a theory that with Glamour that Sir Arthur Dayne at the Tower of Joy was actually Rhaegar. And if Rhaegar going to the Ghost of High Heart Summerhall knows anything about the prophecy, Howland Reed mentioning that they could have powwowed and certain things were done and said at the Tower of Joy to get us to our current position. So, I mean, I got a lot of different things that I think happened at the Tower of Joy. But yeah, I can get behind the one you just said, though.
Lady Thistle says he convinces them to let the children die, just like with Bran. Better off dead, in quotes.
All right. He's just ready to kill us all on the Christmas one-off.
His hand was always between them. Earthswick had hung it around his neck on a cord so it dangled down against his chest, slapping Brienne's breasts as Jaime slipped in and out of consciousness. His right eye was swollen shut, the wound inflamed where Brienne had cut him during their fight. It was his hand that hurt the most. Blood and pus seeped from his stump, and the missing hand throbbed every time the horse took a step. So Jaime is sleeping with Brienne while grabbing her breast. Got it.
I'm sensing a trend.
Yes, exactly. His throat was so raw that he could not eat, but he drank wine when they gave it to him, and water when that was all they offered. Once they handed him a cup, and he quaffed it straight away, trembling. The brave companions burst into laughter so loud and harsh it hurt his ears. That's horse piss you're drinking, Kingslayer, Rorge told him. Jaime was so thirsty he drank it anyway, but afterward he retched it all back up. They made Brienne wash the vomit out of his beard, just as they made her clean him up when he soiled himself in the saddle. Watch out, O&D. I'm going to pull a Tyrion and become the monster you all fear I
am. Please don't. Please don't.
One damp, cold morning, when he was feeling slightly stronger, a madness took hold of him, and he reached for the Dornishman's sword with his left hand and wrenched it clumsily from its scabbard. Ooh, this could be Brantham leaping. Let them kill me, he thought, so long as I die fighting, a blade in hand. But it was no good. Shagwell came hopping from leg to leg, dancing nimbly aside when Jaime slashed at him. Unbalanced, he staggered forward, hacking wildly at the fool. But Shagwell spun and ducked and darted until all the mummers were laughing at Jaime's futile efforts to land a blow. When he tripped over a rock and stumbled to his knees, the fool leapt in and planted a wet kiss atop his head. If this was Brantham leaping, he may not have achieved his objective.
No. Well, I mean, with Jamie talking about let them kill me, he thought so long as I die fighting. I don't know if it's Brandon leaping or not. I think it's more
Yeah,
Jamie on this one.
fair enough. I mean, it just certainly doesn't seem like it accomplishes much.
No.
Lizzie says it's finally happened. Thistle has gone feral. The purple flower brought you close, but now you feel my thorns.
Oh,
Rourke,
to give some Lady Thistle last Saturday. We did a one-off Christmas episode D&D session. We didn't finish it. Lady Thistle is the DM, and when it got stopped, all hell was getting ready to break loose, and I fear for the safety of the party. All hell, Lady Thistle, we love you. Sorry.
one shot. Rourke finally flung him aside and kicked the sword from Jimmy's feeble fingers as he tried to bring it out. That was a new thing, King Flair, said Vargo Hote. But if you tried again, I shall take your other hand, or perhaps a foot. Jimmy lay on his back afterwards, staring at the night sky, trying not to feel the pain that snaked up his right arm every time he moved it. The night was strangely beautiful. The moon was a graceful crescent. It seemed as though he had never seen so many stars. The king's crown was at the zenith, and he could see the stallion rearing, and there the swan. The moon maid, shy as ever, was half hidden behind a pine tree. How can such a night be beautiful? He asked himself. Why would the stars want to look down on such as me? What do you see?
You're roboting on my side.
Oh, I think it's probably your bandwidth, but I'm just guessing. People can let us know in the comments, I guess.
You were roboting there for a minute.
Let me check which
the King's Crown.
Yep.
All right, just like with John and the Sword of the Morning being the prominent star, the King's Crown being what Jamie sees first, I think is telling also.
You're missing the point. It's which constellations you see associated with which person. That's what Old Nude is saying. You never see specifically the Sword of the Morning as a constellation anywhere but with John. Right. And your point is we're seeing the King's Crown here with Jamie.
Right.
Okay? I like it. Jamie, Bran whispered so faintly he thought he was dreaming it. Jamie, what are you doing? Dying, he whispered back. No, she said. No, you must live. He wanted to laugh. Stop telling me what to do, wench. I'll die if it pleases me. This reminds me of the maester smiled. Hush now, child. I'm older than you. I can die as I please. Clash, Bran 7. Are you still Craven? Yes, he tells us so in Tyrion's very first chapter. He could end his torment, Jamie said. I would if it were my son. It would be a mercy. I advise against putting that suggestion to Lord Eddard, sweet brother, Tyrion said. He would not take it kindly. Even if the boy lives, he will be a cripple. Worse than a cripple, a grotesque. Give me a good, clean death. I love this scene. Yep. So anyway, the word shocked him. He was Jaime Lannister, a knight of the Kingsguard. He was the Kingslayer. No man had ever called him Craven. Other things they called him, yes. Oathbreaker, liar, murderer. They said he was cruel, treacherous, reckless, but never Craven. What else can I do but die? Live, she said. Live and fight and take revenge. But she spoke too loudly. Warge heard her voice, if not her words. Came over to kick her, shouting at her to hold her bloody tongue if she wanted to keep it. My bad. I was vaguely remembering something discussed in maybe the last video, but it's been years since then in Parent Time. Yeah, we specifically discussed the fact that the Sword of the Morning is mentioned elsewhere, but it's always referring to the Danes or Arthur, and that this is that John's chapters multiple times refer to the Sword of the Morning as a constellation, but only in John's chapters,
giving a hint to his true bloodline.
Yep.
And then the King's Crown would be giving a hint to Jaime's bloodline.
Yep, that makes sense. Craven, Jaime thought, as Bran fought to stifle her moans. Can it be? They took my sword hand. Was that all I was, a sword hand? Gods be good, is it true? The wench had the right of it. That's me. That's 3. Yeah, exactly, Lucy. Good point. Love that. Yep. Yep. Oh, sorry. The wench had the right of it. He says, and I put, yes, I know. I just said that. He could not die. Cersei was waiting for him. She would have need of him, and Tyrion, his little brother, who loved him for a lie. Sadly, that's true, but that's for later. And his enemies are waiting too. The young wolf who had beaten him in the Whispering Wood and killed his men around him. Edward Tully, who had kept him in darkness and chains. These brave companions. When morning came, he made himself eat. They fed him a mush of oats, horse food, and he forced down every spoon. He ate again at evenfall and the next day. Live, he told himself harshly when the mush was like to gag him. Live for Cersei, live for Tyrion, live for vengeance. A Lannister always pays his debts. His missing hand throbbed and burned and stank. When I reach King's Landing, I'll have a new hand forged, a golden hand, and one day I'll use it to rip out Vargo Hoat's throat. Not if Brienne gives him a fatal bite first.
There is a slight reference there using a fake hand at someone's throat. I know we're not saying that Jaime is the Valonqar, but
it's always nice to note that he does plant seeds in that direction.
Yeah.
GRM is so good. Jaime is such a great character. These chapters are some of my favorites, just impeccably done. Absolutely.
Yeah.
It is interesting how it is interesting how characters have different voices and the way he writes them, and he gets into that mode. And I do think that's part of why he even has is it Edwin Frey? Whoever's the eventual heir to the crossing, the one that's mean and smart and mean. Anyway, he delivers one of my favorite lines that ought not prove much difficulty when Jaime says, "Try not to be as stupid as your sire," right in front of him. And that's before his dad has died, obviously. And that ought not prove much difficulty. Don't get me wrong, Pod. Jaime's such a bitch still, just a beautifully complex bitch.
All right. I can get behind that.
The days and the nights blurred together in a haze of pain. He would sleep in the saddle, pressed against Brienne, his nose full of the stink of his rotting hand. Then at night he would lie awake on the hard ground, caught in a waking nightmare. Weak as he was, they always bound him to a tree. Gave him some cold consolation to know that they feared him that much, even now. I don't know if they fear him that much, looking at how they laughed at him and so forth, but anyway. Brienne was always bound beside him. She lay there in her bonds like a big dead cow, saying not a word. The wench has built a fortress inside herself. They will rape her soon enough. Behind her walls, they cannot touch her. But Jaime's walls were gone. He had taken his hand. He had taken his sword hand, and without it, he was nothing. The other was no good to him. Since the time he could walk, his left arm had been his shield arm, no more. It's his right hand that made him a knight, his right arm that made him a man. One day he heard Urswick say something about Harrenhal, and remembered that was to be their destination. That made him laugh aloud, and that made Timian slash his face with a long, thin whip. Cut bled. Beside his hand, he scarcely felt it. Why did you laugh? The wench asked him that night in a whisper. If Jaime didn't want to lose his hand, he shouldn't have used it to push an innocent boy off a tower to protect his crimes and perversion. Harrenhal was where they gave me the white cloak, he whispered back. Whence great tourney? He wanted to show us all his big castle and his fine sons. I wanted to show them too. I was only 15, but no one could have beaten me that day. Aerys never let me joust. He laughed again. He sent me away, but now I'm coming back. They heard the laugh. That night it was Jaime who got the kicks and punches. He hardly felt them either, till Roar slammed a boot into his stump, and then he fainted. It was the next night when they finally came, 3 of the worst. Shagwell, Noseless Rorge, and the fat Dothraki Zolo, the one who cut his hand off. Zolo and Rorge were arguing about who would go first as they approached. There seemed to be no question but that the fool would be going last. Shagwell suggested that they should both go first, take her front and rear. Zolo and Rorge liked that notion. Only then they began to fight about who would get the front and who the rear. They will leave her crippled too, but inside, where it does not show. Wench, he whispered as Zolo and Rorge were cursing one another. Let them have the meat, and you go far away. Be over quicker, and they'll get less pleasure from it. They'll get no pleasure from what I'll give them, she whispered back, defiant. Stupid, stubborn, brave bitch. She's going to get herself good and killed. He knew it. And what do I care if she does? If she hadn't been so pig-headed, I'd still have a hand. Yet he heard himself whisper, let them do it and go away inside. That was what he'd done when the Starks had died before him. Lord Rickard cooking in his armor while his son Brandon strangled himself trying to save him. Think of Renly if you loved him. Think of Tarth, mountains and seas, pools, waterfalls, whatever you have in your Sapphire Isle. Think. He'll give similar advice to Tommen in his first chapter in Feast, who already used to do this when Joffrey abuses him, which is kind of scary in and of itself. Stupid, stubborn, brave bitch. New t-shirt. But Rory should won the argument by then. You're the ugliest woman I ever seen, he told Brienne. But don't think I can't make you uglier. You want a nose like mine? Fight me and you'll get one. And 2 eyes, that's too many. One scream out of you, and I'll pop one out and make you eat it. Then I'll pull your fucking teeth out one by one. Oh, do it, Rorge, pleaded Shagwell. Without her teeth, she'll look just like my dear old mother, he cackled. And I always wanted to fuck my dear old mother up the arse. Jaime chuckled. There's a funny fool. I have a riddle for you, Shagwell. Why do you care if she screams? Oh, wait, I know, he shouted. Sapphires! As loudly as he could. Cursing, Rorge kicked at his stump again. Jaime howled. I never knew there was such agony in the world, was the last thing he remembered thinking. It was hard to say how long he was gone. When the pain spit him out, Urswick was there, and Vargo Hoat himself. Thie's not to be touched, the ghost screamed, spraying spittle all over Zolo. Thee hath to be a maid, you fools. Thee's worth a bag of bathfires. And from then on, every night, Hope put guards on them to protect them from his own. God, I want that shirt. 2 nights passed in silence before the wench finally found the courage to whisper, Jaime, why did you shout out? Why did I shout sapphires, you mean? Use your wits, wench. Would this lot have cared if I shouted rape? You did not need to shout at all. You're hard enough to look at with a nose. Besides, I wanted to make the goat say sapphire. He chuckled. Good thing for you I'm such a liar. An honorable man would have told the truth about the Sapphire Isle. All the same, she said, I thank you, sir. His hand was throbbing again. He ground his teeth and said, a Lannister pays his debts. That was for the river and those rocks you dropped on Robb and Roger. The goat wanted to make a show of parading him in, so Jaime was made to dismount a mile from the gates of Harrenhal. A rope was looped around his waist, stuck around Brienne's wrists. The ends were tied to the pommel of Vargo Hoat's saddle. They stumbled along, side by side, behind the Cohoric striped Zorse. I've mentioned this before, but real-world Zorses are excellent mounts. Real-world zebras are terrible mounts. That's probably why they use Zorses and not zebras, just as we do in the real world. Or as I said the last time that this came up, Zorses are 100% real animals.
I did not know that.
Literally no understanding of honor. Yeah, they're mules. They're half horse, half zebras, and specifically you do that because they actually have the best characteristics of both. They're stronger than horses, and they're and they're good mounts, unlike zebras. All the same, I thank you, sir. Brienne bringing the honor of a knight and the courtesy of a lady. Jaime's rage kept him walking. The linen that covered the stump was gray and stinking with pus. His phantom fingers screamed with every step. I'm stronger than they know, he told himself. I'm still a Lannister. I'm still a knight of the Kingsguard. He would reach Harrenhal and then King's Landing. He would live, and I will pay this debt with interest. As they approached the cliff-like walls of Black Heron's monstrous castle, Bran squeezed his arm. Lord Bolton holds this castle. The Boltons are bannermen to the Starks. The Boltons skinned their enemies. Jaime remembered that much about the Northmen. Tyrion would have known all there was to know about the Lord of the Dreadfort, but Tyrion was 1,000 leagues away with Cersei. I cannot die while Cersei lives, he told himself. We will die together as we were born together. Our characters are often wronged. How about unicorns? Yeah, you can breed them. You can breed unicorns if you breed the right goats with the with the right ponies or whatever. Yeah, it's possible. They're kind of small, but it can be done. The castleton outside the walls had been burned to ash and blackened stone, and many men and horses had recently encamped beside the lake shore, where Lord Went had staged his great tourney in the year of the false spring. A bitter smile touched Jaime's lips as they crossed that torn ground. Someone had dug a privy trench in the very spot where he'd once knelt before the king to say his vows. I never dreamed how quick the sweet would turn to sour. Ares would not even let me savor that one night. He honored me, and then he spat on me. The banners, Brienne observed. Flayed man and twin towers. See? King Rob's sworn men. There, above the gatehouse, gray on white. They fly the dire wolf. Jaime twisted his head upward for a look. That's your bloody wolf, true enough, he granted her. And those are heads to either side of it. Soldiers, servants, and camp followers gathered to hoot at them. Came for Jaime, stayed for the biology lesson. there's 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 claims that certain of the two-horned animals look just like horses, and that if they turn at the right angle such that one obscures the other, if you saw them at a distance, it would look like a unicorn. Anyway, soldiers, servants, and camp followers gathered to hoot at them. A spotted bitch followed them through the camps, barking and growling, until one of the Liceni impaled her on a lance and galloped to the front of the column. I am bearing Kingslayer's banner, he shouted, shaking the dead dog above Jaime's head. So it's very reminiscent of Harma, the dog's head, probably to remind us of the wall as Jaime enters.
Yeah.
As we see, the walls of Harrenhal were so thick that passing beneath them was like passing through a stone tunnel. Vargo Hoat had sent 2 of his Dothraki ahead to inform Lord Bolton of their coming, so the outer ward was full of the curious. They gave way as Jaime staggered past, the rope around his waist jerking and pulling at him whenever he slowed. I give you the King Flyer, Vargo Hoat proclaimed in that thick, slobbery voice of his. A spear jabbed at the small of Jaime's back, sending him sprawling. Instinct made him put out his hands to stop his fall. When his stump smashed against the ground, the pain was blinding, yet somehow he managed to fight his way back to one knee. Before him, a flight of broad stone steps led up to the entrance of one of Harrenhal's colossal round towers. 5 knights and a Northman stood looking down at him, the one pale-eyed in wool and fur, the 5 fierce in mail and plate, with the twin towers sigil on their surcoats. A fury of frays, Jaime declared. Sir Danwell, Sir Aenys, Sir Hostine. He knew Lord Walder's sons by sight. His aunt had married one, after all. You have my condolences. Came for Jaime, stayed for Richard's Vargo voice.
I was just thinking, I'm so glad you're reading this chapter for sure.
For what, sir? Sir Danwell Frey asked. Your brother's son, Sir Cleos, said Jaime. He was with us until outlaws filled him full of arrows. Urswick and this lot took his goods and left them for the wolves. My lords, Brienne wrenched herself free and pushed forward. I saw your banners. Hear me for your oath. Who speaks? Demanded Sir Aenys Frey. Lanithirth Wetnorth. I am Brienne of Tarth, daughter to Lord Selwyn the Evenstar, and sworn to House Stark, even as you are. Sir Aenys spit at her feet. That's for your oaths. We trusted the word of Robb Stark, and he repaid our faith with betrayal. Now this is interesting. Jaime twisted to see how Brienne might take the accusation. The wench was as single-minded as the mule with a bit between her teeth. I know of no betrayal, she chafed at the ropes around her wrists. Lady Catelyn commanded me to deliver Lannister to his brother at King's Landing. She was trying to drown him when we found them, said Urswick the Faithful. She reddened. In anger, I forgot myself, but I would never have killed him. If he dies, the Lannisters will put my lady's daughter to the sword. Sir Aenys was unmoved. Why should that trouble us? Ransom him back to Riverrun, urged Sir Danwell. Castle Rock has more gold, one brother objected. Kill him, said another. His head for Ned Stark's. Shagwell the Full somersaulted to the foot of the steps in his gray and pink motley and began to sing. There once was a lion who danced with a bear. Oh my, oh my. Silence, fool! Vargo Hoat cuffed the man. The Kingslayer is not for the bear. He is mine. He is no one should he die. Roose Bolton spoke so softly that men quieted to hear him. And pray recall, my lord, you are not master of Harrenhal till I march north. Fever made Jaime as fearless as he was lightheaded. Can this be the lord of the Dreadfort? When last I heard, my father had sent you scampering off with your tail betwixt your legs. When did you stop running, my lord? Bolton's silence was 100 times more threatening than Vargo Hoat's slobbering malevolence. Pale as morning mist, his eyes concealed more than they told. Jaime misliked those eyes. They reminded him of the day at King's Landing when Ned Stark had found him seated on the Iron Throne. The Lord of the Dreadfort finally pursed his lips and said, You have lost a hand. No, said Jaime, I have it here, hanging around my neck. Roose Bolton reached down, snapped the cord, and flung the hand at Hoat. Take this away. The sight of it offends me. I will send it to his Lord Father. I will tell him he must pay 100,000th gold dragons, or we shall return the King's lair to him piece by piece. And when we have his gold, we shall deliver Sir Jaime to Carthark, And collect a maiden, too. A roar of laughter went up from the brave companions. A fine plan, said Roose Bolton, the same way he might say a fine wine to a dinner companion. The Lord Karstark will not be giving you his daughter. King Robb has shortened him by a head for treason and murder. As for Lord Tywin, he remains at King's Landing, and there he will stay till the new year, when his grandson takes for bride a daughter of Highgarden. Winterfell, said Brienne. You mean Winterfell? King Joffrey is betrothed to Sansa Stark. No longer. The Battle of the Blackwater changed all. The Rose and the Lion joined there to shatter Stannis Baratheon's host and burn his fleet to ashes. I warned you, Urswick, Jaime thought, and you, Goat. When you bet against the Lions, you lose more than your purse. Is there word of my sister? He asked. It's weird to hear justice for Ned in this company. She is well, as is your nephew. Bolton paused before he said nephew, a pause that said, I know. Your brother also lives, though he took a wound in the battle. He beckoned to a dour Northman in a studded brigantine. Escort Sir Jaime to Qyburn, and unbind this woman's hands. As the rope between Brienne's wrists was slashed in two, he said, Pray forgive us, my lady. In such troubled times, it is hard to know friend from foe. Brienne rubbed inside her wrist where the hemp had scraped her skin bloody. My lord, these men tried to rape me. Did they? Lord Bolton turned his pale eyes on Bargo Hoat. I am displeased. By that, and this of Sir Jaime's hand. There were 5 Northmen and as many Freys in the yard for every brave companion. The goat might not be as clever as some, but he could count that high at least. He held his tongue. They took my sword, Brienne said, my armor. You shall have no need of armor here, my lady, Lord Bolton told her. In Harrenhal you are under my protection. Not for long. Amabel, find suitable rooms for the Lady Brienne. Walton, you will see to Sir Jaime at once. He did not wait for an answer, but turned and climbed the steps, his fur-trimmed cloak swirling behind. Jaime had only enough time to exchange a quick look with Brienne before they were marched away separately. In the maester's chambers beneath the rookery, a gray-haired, fatherly man named Qyburn sucked in his breath when he cut away the linen from the stump of Jaime's hand. That bad? Will I die? Qyburn pushed at the wound with a finger and wrinkled his nose at the gush of pus. No, though in a few more days. He sliced away Jaime's sleeve. The corruption has spread. See how tender the flesh is? I must cut it all away. The safest course would be to take the arm off. Then you'll die, Jaime promised. Clean the stump and sew it up. I'll take my chances. Qyburn frowned. I can leave you the upper arm, make the cut at your elbow, but take any part of my arm and you'd best chop off the other one as well, or I'll strangle you with it afterwards. So this is, again, arguably some Valonqar foreshadowing, as Jaime seems to claim he could strangle someone with only one arm.
Yeah.
Tyrion, after spending a book or two trying to ensure Shae is not found in his bed by Tywin and therefore killed by a rope strangling her neck, finds Shae in Tywin's bed and demonstrates how, with a single hand, you can wrap your hands around your ex-lover's throat and strangle her. Despite these seeds, we firmly believe the only little brother of the King's Guard is the Valonqar, and Lady Thistle will dispatch any daughters from this high hill. See Triple Targaryen's episode 6. Qyburn looked in his eyes. Whatever he saw there gave him pause. Very well. I will cut away the rotten flesh no more. Try to burn out the corruption with boiling wine and a poultice of nettle, mustard seed, and bread mold. Like the ancient Egyptians, Qyburn has discovered penicillin. Mayhaps that will suffice. It's on your head. You will want milk of the poppy. No, Jaime dare not let himself be put to sleep. He might be short in arm when he woke, no matter what the man said. Lady Thistle draws sword. He sounds just like a certain Lannister brother, the way he's not trusting this maester to Lizzie whispers for the bed. Whispers for Ned? You know what? And the bed. Okay. For Ned. Got it. For the Ned. Got it. Qyburn was taken aback. There will be pain. I'll scream. A great deal of pain. I'll scream very loudly. Will you take some wine at least? Does the High Septon ever pray? Of that I am not certain. I shall bring the wine. Lie back. I must needs strap down your arm. With a bowl and a sharp blade, Qyburn cleaned the stump while Jaime gulped down strong wine, spilling it all over himself in the process. His left hand did not seem to know how to find his mouth. There was something to be said for that. The smell of wine in his sodden beard helped disguise the stench of pus. Nothing helped when the time came to pare away the rotten flesh. Jaime did scream then, and pounded his table with his good fist, over and over and over again. He screamed again when Kyron poured boiling wine over what remained of his stump. Despite all his vows and all his fears, he lost consciousness for a time. When he woke, the maester was sewing in his arm with needle and catgut. I left a flap of skin to fold back over your wrist. You've done this before, muttered Jaime weakly. He could taste blood in his mouth where he'd bitten his tongue. No man who serves with Fargo Holt is a stranger to stumps. He makes them wherever he goes. Kyron did not look a monster, Jaime thought. Looks can be deceiving, Jaime.
Yes, very.
He was spare and soft-spoken with warm brown eyes. How does the maester come to ride with brave companions? The citadel took my chain. Kyron put away his needle. I should do something about that wound above your eye as well. The flesh is badly inflamed. Jaime closed his eyes and let the wine and Kyron do their work. Tell me of the battle. As keeper of Harrenhal's ravens, Kyron would have been the first to hear the news. Lord Stannis was caught between your father and the fire. It said the imps set the river itself aflame. Jaime saw green flames reaching up into the sky higher than the tallest towers as burning men screamed in the streets. I've dreamed this dream before. It was almost funny, but there was no one to share the joke.
Hey,
Sure.
he automatically thinks of green flames. He was just told that the Tyrion set the Blackwater on fire. He didn't say
The
how.
river itself aflame. Yeah. It's a reasonable. Well, I mean, mostly it's
Yeah.
reminding him of Ares in the wildfire, but
Yeah.
and it really is that wildfire. In fact, in addition to a whole lot more,
Right.
some of that wildfire. So Tyrion Targaryen fans might like this paragraph, but we prefer the Chimera interpretation and believe Tyrion is Tywin's only trueborn child.
Yeah.
Open your eye. Kyron soaked the cloth in warm water and dabbed at the crust of dried blood. The eyelid was swollen, but Jaime found he could force it open halfway. Kyron's face loomed above. How did you come by this one? The maester asked. A wench's gift. Rough wooing, my lord? This wench is bigger than me and uglier than you. You best see to her as well. She's still limping on the leg I pricked when we fought. I will ask after her. What is this woman to you? My protector. Jaime had to laugh, no matter how it hurt. I'll find some herbs you can mix with wine to bring down your fever. Come back on the morrow, and I'll put a leech on your eye to drain the bad blood. A leech, lovely. Lord Bolton is very fond of leeches, Kyron said primly. Yes, said Jaime. He would be. Tyrion Chimera brandishes sword. This has a lot of hills to die on. Up next, Storm 32, Tyrion 4, Two Swords. Like the season premiere of the final season of Game of Thrones. The fourth season was the final season, wasn't it?
Not to jump into theories or anything, but the number of references between leeches and Lord Bolton is just way too numerous for there not to be something there. You know what I mean?
Yep. Chris the Crow pops the corn.
Corn.
Corn? So, any interesting thoughts? What was your theory video going to be? Did you actually have something in mind?
I had something in mind when I first mentioned it, and for life of me, I can't remember what it was going to be. It was either something we said in that last video or the video before that made me think of something, and I can't remember what it is. I'll have to go back and rewatch both videos.
Ramsay to kill Roose confirmed. Ramsay literally means wild garlic, according to Lady Thistle.
Ooh, damn. Lady Thistle is looking up names like crazy.
That's interesting.
Yes. Ooh, I like that. I like that a lot.
Of course, Preston, and I fully buy this. Preston thinks that Ramsay and Theon are supposed to be well, I guess Ramsay and Theon and Roose are supposed to be kind of opposite sides of the coin. So, pale blue eyes is ocular albinism, which is an X chromosome. He's a were-leech. It's an X chromosome characteristic. So you're some huge percentage of the time that you see pale blue eyes is going to be on a male because it's a recessive gene on the X chromosome, and kind of like color blindness. So, so pale blue eyes are normally a male inheriting from a female, because the X chromosome comes from the mother in a typical XY male. So most of the time when you see a man, he's inherited the pale blue eyes from his mother, who usually doesn't have the pale blue eyes, although she certainly could. And if she does, then all of her sons should have pale blue eyes. Dark doesn't kill vampires; it repels them like off. Yeah, but it's still interesting. The hint, perhaps, that he's going to be the bane of Roos.
Yeah.
But so anyway, the point is that the timing doesn't really quite add up, because it's supposed to be like a year later that she shows up with this newborn, and the genetics. George is always right about genetics. The Game of Thrones is about genetics, and researching hunting hounds, and Wild Cards is about genetics. All this stuff is always about genetics. Oops, you're switching sides again.
It does it about the same time every time.
So anyway, the point is that Ramsey is trueborn, and then meanwhile a trueborn Miller's child. We talked about a horrible scenario where the mother was his sister, hence her needing his permission to marry. And I can't wash that book club convo out of my brain. That does make sense. Anyway, shoot, yeah, he probably did claim right of first night. Explain where it came from. Yeah, he claims right of first night. So the probability that lots of people, that women with the blue gene actually came from his right of first night. Pale blue eyes. Yep. Anyway. Anyway, the point is that so Ramsey is a trueborn Miller's kid who is believed to be a bastard of a High Lord, while the Miller's boys are bastards of a High Lord who are believed to be trueborn Miller's kids.
Yeah.
Anyway.
I like that. Yeah.
Yeah. Anyway,
that sounds like something.
Did you have your theory idea?
What's that?
What was your theory idea? You said you forgot?
Yeah, it was something that we said in the last video prior, either that day's video or the one before it, that was sitting in my head. But like I said, 2 weeks with Carter, actually 2 weeks and a couple of days with Carter. I have to rewatch the videos to remind myself.
Yeah, sounds good.
It might have had something to do with my belief that the Targaryens and the White Walkers were created by the same people when fire dragons and ice dragons were both created. They needed writers for both. They needed humanoid people for the dragons to bond with, not for the people to bond with the dragons, but the dragons to bond with the people. The reverse of the dire wolves and the Starks. That was
so
one.
John's old friend, the ice dragon. You think he's going to be ice magic involved in his resurrection?
I go back and forth on it. We got Melisandre there.
I always thought fire was going to be the answer, but
yeah, with the Stark blood, I would lean more toward the ice, to be honest with you.
Yeah, and his old friend, the ice dragon.
Yeah,
that's the only time the ice dragon.
Yeah, Melisandre either might try fire magic or know that her fire magic won't work on Jon just because of the Stark blood. And
basically every single other, besides the ice dragon is the old friend of Jon, every other mention of the ice dragon is associated with the wall.
Right.
Or hidden. Right. Either the ice dragon is hidden or the ice dragon is at the wall.
Oh, wow. The wall wouldn't let Aemon die. What if the wall, and this is leaning toward the don't yell at me, please, that John is half Targaryen. What if the wall, and it still works with what we think,
Yeah.
the
The
wall
other the
doesn't
other the
doesn't
other thing.
allow John to die.
Yeah, absolutely, Mother Roy. I definitely think there's an ice dragon powering the wall, this trap powering the wall, and that's why we get this foreshadowing of Dragonstone coming to life, and of this in the world of Ice and Fire, the idea of a dragon trapped under Winterfell powering the hot springs.
Yeah.
I think those are meant to foreshadow this ice dragon powering the wall.
If I'm not mistaken, Girl Nettles had mentioned something in her live stream that Lizzie did, even though Lizzie couldn't be on our live stream the next day. Not saying anything, Lizzie. That the the dragon that was underneath, and I keep saying my memory. Lizzie might have to correct me on this, but the dragon that was underneath uh, Winterfell was Sheep Stealer, and Nan either shares a spirit with Nettles or is Nettles. I can't remember. But Lizzie, if
I
you
like her.
remember,
I like the Roanne Weber theory of her.
yeah,
It has some nice parallels with Sansa, right? She marries a Lannister and then runs away to one of the other great castles and then dyes her hair so that nobody recognizes her. And so Dunk kissing somebody without red hair doesn't disprove it at all, right?
yeah,
Otherwise, it's Girl Nettles channel.
yeah.
Yeah. Yeah,
It was a live stream. There was a couple of people on there. When there's more people talking, to be honest, I have a harder time remembering what's said because I have to go from person to person. When it's like this or just one person, it's easier for me to remember somehow. But I remember something about the Nettles, Arya, Old Nan, there being a connection, and
Mother Roy, we are yeah, exactly. I know that's where you're going. Yes, Girl Nettles YouTube channel. So we are definitely you will sometimes see many of our friends on Girl Nettles channel. We hang out at Ice and Fire. We hung out at Ice and Fire Con together. She was if you watch the Great Westerosi debate, is it on? I assume it's on YouTube somewhere.
Yeah.
Nettles and I were partners for both debates. Lady Thistle was the judge.
Are you talking about at the con?
Lizzie, and yeah. So
yeah, it's not on.
So anyway, the point is, it's not up.
No. All we got is the pre-debate on Nettles' channel.
Okay. So yeah, Girl Nettles has will often have some of the people you'll see in this chat on her channel, and the other YouTube channel that is a close friend of ours would be she was at the first Tyson Park Con. Another YouTube channel that is a close personal friend of ours would be the Green Bard. He's been a co-host two or three times on this channel. So if you're interested in YouTube channels of our friends, those would be too. And we keep hearing rumors there's going to be a podcast with Lady Thistle and Charles.
I keep hearing that.
Maybe I want this podcast.
Maybe this is the year for it.
Anyway. So yeah,
do not make Lady Thistle mad, please. I still got to finish that D&D game.
No, I'm not trying to make her mad. Yeah. We need to. We probably need to throw a comment in. Whoa. we need to maybe throw in a links to the channels in the chat or something.
That's your department. You know I can't do that.
All right. Let's see here. Maybe I can do that. Let's see if I can find this real quick.
All right.
All right. Yeah, here we go. This is her. How can I share this?
It also on the theory video.
This link will work.
Might have been. I know I discussed this, but either Lizzie or Lady Thistle Um, who I think the three-eyed crow is, um,
There
and
you go.
it's either Lamb the trickster or the first Night's King that are still alive. And the reason that we were talking about super green seers and body jumping all the time up until the current story. Um, and the reason that I think that is George was asked about the Night's King being still alive, and he didn't say no, he didn't say yeah. He did his normal cryptic answer was that he would have just as much chance of still being alive as Lamb the Trickster or Bran the Builder. And in my mind, I automatically took it as okay, all three of those people are still alive in our story, and the three-eyed crow is um, either the good guy or the bad guy, depending on what Bloodraven is, because he's working against Bloodraven. Um, so it was either Lamb the Trickster or the Night's King, depending on who Bloodraven is, who I think the Three-Eyed Crow is. If Bloodraven is a bad guy, then I think that the Three-Eyed Crow is Lamb the Trickster. If the Bloodraven is a good guy, then I think it is the Night's King is the Three-Eyed Crow. Something like that. I know that was a lot in a little bit.
All right.
Yeah, I know. I have some stupid ideas.
No, sorry. I was just trying to jump to. Hey. Um, anyway, somehow
Thank
I
you.
wound up in one of our other videos,
Uh-oh.
and I may have. Did I get this? Did I get? I got this both in there.
Yeah,
There's
you
green
got
bar.
grilled
Did I notice
nettles
that?
and the green bard. Yeah.
All right. Well, somehow I've managed to lose the stream, so I can't post anymore. That was the only thing I was trying to post anyway.
Yeah. If you got any more, you get it. Mother says founder.
Yeah. Sadly, we don't have a podcast link to throw.
No, not yet. One day. One day. I have
I mean,
faith.
you could. I suppose you could. If you haven't watched my videos, you should definitely watch my videos.
Yeah. Mother, have you seen Richard's uh, 7 videos of the triplet Targaryens?
Uh,
We'll give her a second to answer. If you have not watched them, they are without a doubt worth the watch. They are great videos, a lot of information. Gonna have to have of that faith, old dude. Yeah. Well, I mean, you never know which rabbit hole my brain's going to go down, and what words set off. Mother has not watched the Trip Targaryen. Yeah,
okay.
certain phrases or words that start a rabbit hole. Sometimes I can't get out of that rabbit hole for looking at something else. I kind of get trapped in the rabbit hole, and that's just one of them. That something that George said sparked that rabbit hole, and it's hard for me to let go of it. And I really can't find anything to back it up a lot. On Twitter, back when it was called Twitter, if I'd even mentioned that, like some of my other theories, people would bash me and say that it's not a theory, that's just an idea. And then I would let them know that that's what a theory is an idea or an opinion. And I'm like, yeah, that's what a theory is too, an opinion. But yeah, like, I don't have anything to back it up, but it's just a feeling.
Pod's funny. Uh,
I just read it.
yeah. I
Yeah,
tried to
Mother
post the
says
link. I'm not
post the
sure.
link.
I tried to post it. I don't know why it's not showing up. It's like blocking me.
Hmm. Well, as soon as
Weird.
this ends, you can go in the comments and try to post it there.
Yeah. I don't know what's going on with it. Maybe I'm not allowed to self promote or something. Weird. Go to the playlist. Maybe I should see if I can share the playlist. It won't. Thanks, Pod.
Yeah.
Yeah, there
Pod
was.
hates,
There was
hates
an
my two
episode of
favorite characters.
There was a. All right.
Oh yeah. But yeah, Pod hates my two favorite characters, Jamie and the Hound. I would say two favorite characters. They're definitely in the top 5. My favorite to read, without a doubt, hands down, would be Arya.
Oh, I think I'm being blocked as a spammer since I keep throwing links with no context in there. It's decided I'm not worth including in the chat.
Uh-oh. Links won't post in live stream. They are disabled.
Yeah, but 2 of them showed up. The first 2 showed up. I got this one to show up. Clearly, I can see it right there. But after I tried to throw a third one that was a link to me, it decided I'm just a spammer. Probably because I keep posting nothing but links with no context.
Spammer.
Yep. All right. Well, I guess we have to wrap this up so we can go to comments.
Yep.
So I can post as a comment instead.
There you go.
Whether that'll come through,
to watch.
whether that'll come through or not, I don't know. But try.
All
we can do is try.
Yeah, this is not the best live stream. It's not the worst live stream. We're starting out the new year in a decent way. I hope you had fun at the beginning, during the middle, and at the end.
Here at the end, it's less fun because you got me trying to post links and not succeeding.
I'm sorry. That's my fault.
Entertaining as this is not nearly as entertaining as the rest of the stream, probably.
Yeah, and then I try to fill the space with some theories that there's not going to be that many people are going to be like, oh yeah, that's a good idea. So, but it is what it is. Again, happy birthday to Mother. Happy New Year to everybody. Hope everybody has a Merry Christmas. What's that?
I've definitely seen that CSI. It was like a rapist who knew that if they swabbed him, he'd get away with it because he had different DNA. Anyway.
Top half and the bottom half didn't match.
Yep.
Somehow I remember that.
Yep.
Okay. All right. Wednesday is who?
I forgot.
I'll find out.
Let me go back to my Tyrion 4, 2 swords.
Okay. In the next Jaime chapter, the hot bath scene?
Probably.
If memory serves, it is. That's without a doubt.
Has to be. Yeah.
One of my favorite scenes in the entire book series, and on the TV show. But we still got a couple of chapters in between here and there. But okay, we'll see everybody on Hump Day. No, we'll see everybody on Monday. There will be no live stream Wednesday next week. Is my son's 9th birthday.
I might not be able to do Wednesdays going forward either. There's a project that it's going to have Wednesday morning meetings, I think. So I'm probably not going to be able to do those.
Right. Well, I mean, Wednesday's my son's 9th birthday, and he'll be having a birthday party at school. So they asked parents to attend. So he's already asked me to come. So I told him I would. But we will see everybody Monday. As always, have a good weekend. Stay safe. Have fun. And y'all take care. It was nice to be back. Sorry for the delay, but we missed y'all and are glad to be here. And thank y'all. Thank you again, Richard, for doing this with me. I do appreciate it. Yeah. And here's hoping we have a good, prosperous year forward.
Sounds good.
All right. Bye, y'all. Bye, Richard.
Bye.